Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Shay, and you are watching Shay with the Hobbies, and I am lighting my writing candle because your girl is ready to get to work. I am ready for some writing. I told y'all last week that I wanted to do like a 10K writing weekend, and that obviously did not happen. Like I started last week, and I was just like, that's not gonna work. But this weekend, it is looking like a definite possibility. So I'm definitely thinking that might be the move. That might be what I try to do this weekend. And so I'm thinking maybe even make it uh like a melanated 10K day tomorrow. I'm thinking. I don't even know. But I really want to get some writing done. I had a couple ideas hit me yesterday, and I started like kind of writing out what my thoughts were and how I could maneuver through them and things like that. So I'm really excited to see what I could write this weekend. Um, so yeah. Uh, no, that's not right. What is it? Um, right. I don't know why that didn't just open for me. That was so weird. Okay. All right. So I'm sorry I had to move the stream up. I was just really tired when I woke up this morning. I was up early enough to do the stream, and I was like, no. Um. Okay. Okay. Um. Good morning, Bree. Good morning, Vina. I hope you guys slept well. I hope y'all are up for uh getting some work done, some reading, some writing, being productive this morning. Cause I know I am. I'm definitely about to make me some coffee so I have something warm to drink. Cause as y'all see, I still got my pullover on this morning because it is a little chilly in my apartment this morning. But it's because it's gonna be hot again in Oklahoma. So there's that. Sorry, y'all. I saw something that somebody wrote, and I just immediately started responding to it, trying to understand what they were saying. And, this is the hard part about but it's because I'm finally getting feedback on a story that I sent out, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting feedback. I don't understand what this means, and I want to know. Okay, y'all, let's get this up. All right, y'all. Let's get some work done. did everybody do? Let me know how you did. I'll let you know how I did. So I got 64 words, but I'm editing this draft and I got comments from one of my really good friends on it. And so she was catching a bunch of things that y'all remember to read y'all stuff out loud. Remember to read y'all stuff out loud, because what truly was messing me up is there's a lot of sentences I just didn't read out loud, and had I read out loud, I would have caught what was wrong with the sentence, and it would have cleared itself up. So there are a few sentences that there were things that she caught that it was like, oh, I knew what I wanted to say, and I just got jumbled up and put the wrong words in here. So I fixed that. I fixed a few sentences and whatnot, and this new draft that I'll be writing will be the one that I send to beta readers. So I'll be in my Discord and be like, hey, does anybody want to beta read a short story for me? I'll send it to a couple of other friends that I go to for beta reading. So I'm super duper excited. And if all goes well, this could be the story I release in October. So it could be. We shall see. So yeah, so not a lot of words because I was editing. Now, if we count what I wrote in the comment section to ask her questions and whatnot, then I probably wrote like 300 words, but still. Let me see what we're going to. And I know we got some readers in here too, so I'll put write/read just in case for this next question. But we had a lot of people join us in that one. Diamondback Soldier, thank you so much for joining us. Good morning. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I just realized I didn't make myself big. Good morning, Monique. It's good to see you. Monique says, I'm hoping to finish proofreading on my YA urban fantasy. Has anyone here written an acknowledgments page? I have, but it hasn't been published. So I written, my acknowledgments and like an author's note for stuff that I want to publish later. But not that's actually been published. Good morning, Puff. Thank you so much for sliding through. I appreciate you. Mag the Writer, good morning. Question number 1, what are you working on today? Day job, meetings, and tasks. Hoping to get a little personal writing session in the 30 minutes between 2 meetings. Yes, I hope you do too. Monique said, just wrote the acknowledgement page, kept it short. Nice. Venus said, had to pause and talk to a recruiter for a job I had interviewed for. This job hunt is brutal. Yeah. It's amazing to me how many people I know with degrees who are having a hard time finding a job. Also, can y'all tell that I'm not got nothing to get anything to eat or drink or anything? Yeah, I was literally at this computer the whole time. I mean, I have my camera so y'all can see. I was like, okay, I finally got feedback, so I just was like, nope, I'm gonna focus on this, because when you don't have feedback, you're just kind of like waiting. When you have it, it's like, let's work. Definitely rooting for you on this job hunt, Vina. I know that it's not easy, so rooting for you. And y'all, I'm sorry. I just need to wake up. I'm sorry. Yeah, the job hunt has been rough for so many folks, for sure. I know, right? I'm so happy. Yeah, so definitely, if any of y'all are up for being a beta reader for us, for right now, how many words is that? I want to say it's less than 5,000 words. Right now, it's not even 4,500 words. And I don't think it's going to get to 5,000. I don't see me adding another almost 600 words to the story. Like, it's pretty much done. I really just need to make sure I'm hitting all the marks on it and everything like that. So, speaking of reading, I'm currently reading The Parable of the Sower, and I really like it so far. I started it. I need to pick it back up and finish it. It's not that I wasn't like it. I was just reading a physical copy, and I've been reading so many audiobooks. I really need to get back to physically reading things. Definitely have to read things out loud, make sure it sounds right, for sure. And I did with the dialogue in the scene that I changed. But because I changed so many things from that second draft to that third draft, I forgot that like in the second draft she had a boyfriend and she'd been in a relationship for almost a year. And in this new draft, I switched it to where I made it to where it was like their first shooting their shot with the boyfriend. So the year ago stuff wasn't still supposed to be in there. Just things that when you change up, you gotta go back and fix. So stuff like that. Like in the second draft, I forgot that I cut the main character's hair off, so I still had her talking about a ponytail that didn't exist. Just stuff you gotta go back and read through and check, y'all. Walk in the Woods, good morning. I started The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn for a read along. Okay. I'm intrigued. Tell me how you are feeling about it as you're reading it. Are you still reading Genesis Begins Again, or did you finish it? And if you did finish it, what did you think about it? Monique proofread 2 chapters. Okay, awesome. All right, y'all. So the second question is, if you are a writer, what is the scene you want to write that you haven't yet? If you are a reader, what is the scene that you haven't read that you want to read? Like things that you want to see in books that you haven't. Sometimes you got to go back and double check some stuff. For sure. Especially when you're changing key details, key things like that have to be changed. And I like it because in the first draft, I was more, or in the first and second draft with the boyfriend, I was more so telling you about the relationship. And it was okay because it's a short story, so you can get away with more telling versus showing. But in the way that I changed the relationship, you're getting to see how they meet. So I'm getting to put more banter and more of his personality in there and getting to create a personality for him as a character. I also added like a waitress and get to put some personality for her in there a little bit. So it just adds a little bit more to the scene that wasn't there the first 2 drafts, and I like it better. And the other people who have read it, who didn't have anything to critique on it, they liked it better. But I'm glad that I had somebody who's like, okay, no, this sounded a little weird, this sounded a little off, I think you could change this, I think you could change this. Because there's something to be said about having people who say really positive things, and there's something to be said about people who critique your work that still have positive things to say, but are also like, hey, I'm not trying to be nitpicky, but this seemed a little bit off to me. Because for me, even reading those, even when I'm like, okay, maybe she was being nitpicky, but then I'm like looking at it, okay, no, objectively, that's not nitpicky. Let's see how we can change that. Sometimes being a writer is getting outside of yourself, getting outside of your characters, getting outside of the story, and breaking away from your personal attachment to it, and being objective and listening to the people that you trusted to give you feedback. That wasn't supposed to be a little rant. If it was, I apologize. But just my experiences as I'm writing and I'm working with people to make my stories better. Monique says, I was thinking about the sequel to my novel last night and imagined how exactly my character's magical powers work and how she used them in the final fight. We were talking about this book a couple of nights ago. Blood at the Root by Ladarian Williams. I think it's a really, really great book, but there is a very, very, very good magical fight scene between this author's main character and his grandmother and some forces on the yard. And I mean, there's other people fighting with them, like there's professors and things like this, because this is like a college set story. But I think the fight scene in here is one of the best magical fight scenes I've seen in an urban fantasy. So I would definitely recommend it. As someone who is a believer that reading books is some of the best research that you can do. You can learn from what other people have done. I think the fight scenes in here are really, really good. Money. So check it out from your library. And I also recommend listening to the audiobook. Audiobook, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you. Okay, y'all. So we got the second question up. We're gonna start the sprint at the, it's at the 7 now. So we did, it'd be 20 to 07, so it'd be 17. We did another 30. Another 30? That sounds right. Okay. All right, y'all. Let's put 30 minutes on the clock. It made me want to write something. It really did. Do I want to write for teenagers? Not the older teens. I'm thinking about, my little babysitters club middle grade thing, the 8th graders. I think I can handle that. Do I want to write for these kids? No, but did it make me want to write? Yes. Yes, it did. It made me want to write. And I was super glad that I read. All right, y'all. And 3, 2, 1. Y'all write them words. Let me know how you did in the comments. I will know how I did too. Oh, coffee's hitting the spot. Okay, so I didn't get that many more words because again I was reading through and editing and going through the notes, and then my friend was like, y'all, she texted me and she was like, because I said I forgot to read the drafted line. She was like, I figured something was up because some of those mistakes I've never seen you make before. Yeah, girl, yeah. Y'all, one of them, it was my elf when it's supposed to be myself. Like just little stuff, y'all, little stuff. But I'm done with that now, and I can switch over to a different project, and I can get this ready to go out to beta readers once I get some more things going on. So I'm actually really excited about it now because I have a few people that I want to beta read it. So I'm trying to make a list. I think because I have my critique partners. So, that's 3 people all top. And then my alpha readers, I have 2 alpha readers. So for drafts 1 through 3, 5 different people read. And so now drafts 4 or 5, I'll add about 10 more people that'll read. And then either draft 5 or draft 6 will go to the editor. Is usually about how I do it. I'm not opposed to stories taking however many drafts they need. And again, this will be draft 4 that the beta readers are getting, but it's honestly really just draft 3 with the minor edits that the alpha readers gave me, because no one has me changing major story changes now. It's really just proofreading and fixing a sentence here and da da da. So the alpha readers have gotten to see major changes. The beta readers really get to see the basis of the story. Pretty much, nothing really changes from beta readers for me usually. Nothing really changes from beta readers to the editor unless there's some glaring thing for me. So, okay. Monique said, I made myself some iced coffee. I just have regular warm coffee because I know I need cold. Now I'm warm, so I'm definitely about to be in a t-shirt in this next sprint. Walking the Woods said, I'm not finished with Genesis, and it's so good. It's definitely on my list. Huckleberry Finn will be challenging, but we're reading it before we read James by Percival Everett in September. So I've read 2 Percival Everett books this year. I'm definitely looking to read some more. I'm liking his writing style. I didn't like the book that American Fiction is based off is Erasure. I did not like Erasure completely, but I think it was because there wasn't as much of a change in the character in Erasure as there was in American Fiction. And there were like things that were experienced in American Fiction, the movie, and like there was nuance and things talked about in the movie that there wasn't in the book. But I didn't not like the book. Like I didn't think it was badly written or anything like that. I would love to have a conversation with Mr. Everett about it. There are some things that I'm curious about that. But it definitely is something that I will more than likely read again because I want to read it physically. I listen to the audio book because there are some things that I don't want to like physically be able to look at, especially because for Erasure, it is a book within a book because you do get the book that he writes in the story to be like kind of salacious. You get that in the book as a book, and so that part was a lot to kind of take in for me, audiobook wise. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What can I do? Y'all see y'all favorite doggy. Y'all see? Yes, sir. What can I do for you? You're demanding attention while I'm streaming. Well, you know that we're still not on good terms because you messed up y'all water bowl. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, Titan be trying to think that I be forgetting what he do. No, sir, my memory is long. Off my rug. I didn't stutter, little boy. Made me get out this chair. Thank you. Hey, Coffee Crate Connect. Hello, everyone working in AutoCrit, trying to finish polishing on my novel. So far, it's a score of 87, which is fantastic, but I need at least a 90 to be happy. That makes sense. That makes sense. When it says I'm proofreading the last chapter of my novel and I'm done. Now I'm thinking about starting the glossary of Tagalog Bisaya. I don't know if I'm saying those words right. Let me know. Words that I use. I think that's awesome. I love when there's like a glossary so that I can know the words, especially when there's like pronunciation and things, because I love knowing how the author wanted things to sound. Only 46 new words because I removed some stuff that made no sense. I definitely understand how it goes. I'm hesitant to read Erasure, also knowing the time period it was written in and knowing the black book landscape. Look back in 2001. Yeah, because it definitely feels like that. Especially because like there is no reckoning with his thought process. I felt that there was no reckoning with his thought process and whatnot. And like in the movie where he has to go up and talk to the lady who wrote the other book that he felt the way about and whatnot, he doesn't have to meet her in the book. So he doesn't have to contend with his actual things that he thinks about them and da da da. So, and I think that he wrote Erasure because he felt like, nobody was wanting, they were wanting specific books at that time. People talk about American fiction are comparing to today's black books that often deal with navigating being in white spaces. And that's the other part that's interesting is even with, um, even with, Monk's books. Monk's books weren't about black people navigating white spaces. They weren't about being black at all. They weren't about black characters at all. They weren't even that. Like they were literally about like these obscure thoughts. Like they were very deep like topics about things that were just random. They were like I want to say he was writing like fantasy in different ways that weren't about right. The Joe book in American fiction punches down on urban fiction and is very much like that in Erasure. Very, very much like in Erasure, especially because, like I said, the book transforms into the book that he fake wrote, right? And you're in that book for quite a while, and it feels very anti-black. Like I'm not gonna hold you. It feels very anti-black. And I get the sentiments behind it. I get the where it was coming from, but also you live and you learn, right? And I do feel like he lived and he learned because obviously he was a part of American Fiction, the book or the movie and whatnot. And so I do think that's why there was a different conversation in the movie versus the book. But again, you know, we talk about, usually the book is better than the movie. I would say that the movie is better than the book in the case of American Fiction and Erasure because the movie deals with nuance and the book does not, in my opinion. But as I said, I don't think that the writing is bad at all. It made me, again, I want to read more Percival Everett. It's the second Percival Everett book I read. The first one I read was The Trees. Absolutely loved it down. It is definitely going to be a comp for something that I've been working on for a couple of years now. So I'm definitely excited to see what more I can learn from him as a writer reading his work. So, but I definitely agree. It definitely was punching down a lot. So a scene that I want to write that I haven't written yet. So I've written like a dance team's house party scene. So it's just a bunch of girls from a collegiate dance team. I have not written a like actual college dance scene yet. So I really would like to write that. Something else that I haven't written that I want to write is I haven't really written I've only written one fantastical thing, and that was Dust by Dust. And I've kind of written one other thing, and it was like a mermaid mercenaries type deal. And so I would like to I would like to write a fantastical battle. Especially like after reading Blood at the Root, I would love to write a magical battle scene. I think those definitely seem very, very intriguing with the ability to write a fight scene, but with extra elements to it. So that's something I would like to write. And then the only other thing that I know that I really, really want to write is I want to write a very deep and gripping parent-child scene. There are a lot of familial parent-child relationships in my stories. There are a lot of like tenuous relationships between parents in my stories. But family is like a very strong family is a very strong theme in the stories that I'm writing. But in a lot of the stories I'm writing, I haven't gotten to those scenes with the parents yet. And so I really want to write those. Like I know for Blankets and Burglary for the Chessington Circle series, like the Chessington Crochet Circle series, I know that like Sharice and her mom are going to have a conversation about how Sharice feels her mother changed after her accident and kind of like has immobilized her into growing up and being able to grow out and be an adult, and how she feels kind of suffocated behind that, because there are times as the eldest child you get stuck in that caregiver like role and you don't get out of it. And so that is a very hard conversation to have. It's an even harder conversation to have with a parent that's disabled, right? Because there is a level of guilt that comes with that. So that's a scene that I'm looking forward to writing. There's a scene in Best Served Cold with the main character and her father, and the main character and her brother, and it deals with like favoritism and feeling like her brother got off easier in a lot of different ways, because he was the boy and because he was younger, but also coming to realize through reading the journals of both her father and her brother while she's going on this journey that it wasn't necessarily going easier on. It was, you were more advanced in these things. I had to give your brother more attention. So there's just a bunch of like conversations and things that I want to have in stories that I feel like I don't see a lot of, and I'm really excited to write those scenes family wise. So that's what I'm looking forward to writing as for question number 2. Venus says, I was thinking about that the other night after we talked, and I'm like, but wait a minute, we're talking about 2 different eras. We're talking about 2 completely different eras. And that's the other part of the conversation about American fiction and talking about the books that people aren't acknowledging, right? Like when American fiction, or Erasure came out, they were talking about a time where, and again, like we talked about how we felt in this range. We also felt like we were getting like an onslaught of urban fiction, right? And we had a negative view on it at the time, because there was a time when it was a wave of this is what publishing is pushing for whatever reason, right? And so now publishing is on this new wave of these white gaze black stories, and it's like, I see why that was so important. I see why that mattered. I see why we needed the variation. Yes, we're gonna get into another sprint, and then I'm gonna go take you to do something, because you obviously want to bother me this morning. A scene I want to write but haven't is a space racing sequence between 2 femme racer rivals. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Something I want to read that I haven't read yet. I really want to read a heist. I really want to read a heist. Like I like heist movies. I've never read a heist book. And this made me think of that. Just for everything like, racing away from the scene of the crime or something. Okay, mermaids. Yeah. It's a story I honestly need to dust off because it could be one that I could put it on Wattpad and like rearrange it and stuff. Honestly, it could be. All right, Monique, it was great for seeing you. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate your comments and answers to the questions. Hey, big brother, good to see you. Good afternoon. I hope you're having a great day. And one thing I didn't know then that I know now is that urban fiction authors were putting their money back into the community, opening bookstores too. Right. Things you don't know because you're still young. Those aren't things that you're thinking about and understand. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot when you look at, again, we say this all the time, context matters. Context matters for sure. All right, y'all, let's get one last sprint up here and another question. I use this on Sunday, but I really want to know. I want you guys to be thinking about what sparks joy and what you're doing to spark joy in your life. Because, woo, Chile, with the state of America right now, we need it. Truly, we need it. That part is so weird that it's not as widely known. It really isn't. It really isn't as widely known. All right, y'all. And 3, 2, 1. Y'all write the words. Oh no, you're totally fine. You're totally fine. All right, y'all. I'd be lying if I didn't say I started eating and got carried away and didn't realize the sprint was over because I was eating. So, all right. What's the last thing I did to spark joy? Eat some food like an adult, to your adult, because y'all know I don't be eating like I'm supposed to. So I ate some grown people food. That's what I did. That's what I did. Um, I'm at 228 words for the day. It's not my streak, but again, I've been editing, so it's fine. It's not, about the count of words when you're editing. It's about the quality of the story. I reached out to a few people about beta reading. I put something in the writing Discord to, reach out. Hey, is anybody, up for reading the story? It's less than 5,000 words. That kind of thing. I think this time I'm going to create a list of questions that I want the beta readers to answer. Probably just 10, just to see how that goes and see how I can use that feedback to create a fuller, richer story. Because usually I just have generic questions that I ask the individual as I'm going through it, but I want to incorporate these forms because I definitely want to use them as I'm going into writing longer stories and novellas and working my way up to getting these novels finished. So I'm really excited. I'm really, really excited about it. I'm excited to see where today goes for the rest of the day. I don't know if I'll do another writing stream later today. I know that the library has their lock-in tonight from like 7 to 11. I don't think I'll stay until 11 o'clock. There's going to be a bunch of kids and stuff. I just want to come and get the prize. But I do think I'll do a longer Twitch stream. I know I had therapy in like less than an hour, so probably after therapy I'll get on and do a Twitch stream. I don't know if I'm gonna play a game or if I'm gonna do Shay Reacts because we're talking about watching a movie and just getting my reaction to the movie and just watching it live and laughing and joking and whatnot. So definitely follow me on Twitch so you get some like laughing and joking and chill. But I do think I'm going to do some more sprints over the weekend because I would like to get a good head start on some things for August, as this is our last weekend in July and whatnot, because I have some major goals I want to hit before the year is out. So going for a walk at dusk. Ooh. I'm not gonna hold you. I honestly like walking the dogs then as well, specifically because I can't do it at dawn because I'm not awake. But dusk is like the cooler part of the day here for when I am awake, and so taking the dogs on a longer walk then really like it works. It works. All right, y'all. Well, I want to thank everybody for hanging out with me. And if you're here now or you're watching on the replay, I appreciate you so, so very much. This is my friendly reminder to remind you that you are enough. Everything about you is enough. Whatever happens today, tomorrow, or the next day, you can and will get through. There is a light inside of you that the world needs to see. So be the best you that you can be and bless the rest of us with that light. I want to thank you so much for being here. It was a pleasure hanging out with y'all today. Y'all have a fantastic rest of y'all day, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.